The Invest Africa yacht sailed into Cape Town this Saturday, placing third in the second leg of the Clipper Around the World race. Here in studio with me to speak more about what this means for the team, we have skipper Rich Gould, team member Susie Fontanas joining us on Google Hangout, and Sapinda Rainbow team member Nokolunga Kwanyana. Rich, tell me what it's like sailing in the world's longest ocean race.
It's absolutely amazing. Out there, really man versus nature, crossing oceans, really challenging physically, emotionally. But every time you sort of come into the end of an ocean crossing, see land appear over the horizon, fantastic feeling, great sense of achievement. It's a really, really exciting way to travel.
Susie, I know it was your first time on a boat. Can you tell me what the experience was like?
Well, it was a lot better than I expected. I think when I started out, I thought I would enjoy the challenge after the trip, but it was an amazing experience. Really good.
And Nokolunga, I know it was your first time also on a boat. What was your experience like?
My experience was very good. It was really challenging, but I must say I had a great time with the crew and the skipper. They were so good. I've learned a lot in my experience. I think I've grown inside.
Nokolunga, can you tell me a little bit more about why you wanted to be involved in this?
Because I wanted to raise funds for the Nelson Mandela Children's Hospital that will be built in the Parktown in Johannesburg.
Can you tell me, before you joined this race, had you ever been on a boat before?
No, I've never been on the boat before.
So what was that experience like?
It wasn't easy because I was scared even being in the sea because I've never been in the sea before. Yeah, so it was really hard, but I had to do it for the children.
And what stage of the race was this?
So we've just completed the second leg and the third race. We're 8 legs make the full circumnavigation up. Okay. So we're a quarter of a way into the round the world journey now. Okay,
and I know you came in third place. What places did you place on the first leg?
On race 1, we finished first, which was
That's awesome.
Absolutely awesome. Race 2, we had a bit of a bad run of luck crossing the equator, and we finished last. But now we managed to get into third place and on a podium coming into our home port. So really, really pleased with that. The guys worked so hard to get us where we're at, and only just missed out on first place by a few hours.
Now, how many days did it take to get from Rio to Cape Town?
From Rio to Cape Town was exactly 14 days.
Okay, wow. And during those 14 days, what's it like being on the boat? I know some people might think it's quite luxurious. Is it?
Luxurious would not be a word that comes to mind, no. It's 70 foot, it's quite a big boat, but there's 20 of us living on there. Every crew member's got like 2 little lockers to keep all their things in. The boat's running 24 hours a day. The team, one half of the team are asleep, whilst the other half of the team are sailing the boat. Okay. And then everything revolves around sleep, food and sailing, and then repeat the same cycle for 14 days.
I know you mentioned there are 20 people on board. How many people are on the entire team, and is it like a relay?
The crew's made up, is complete amateur crew. So the only professional sailor on board is myself.
Wow.
And then 10 of our team are round the world crew, so they're all the way round, all 40,000 miles.
Okay.
And then we've got about another 50 odd crew members that are doing anywhere between 1 leg and a combination of legs. Okay. Changing over as we go around the world.
Okay, I know you mentioned most of the sailors on board are amateurs. Susie is an amateur, and it was your first time sailing. What made you want to do this, Susie?
It's a good question. I think just the sense of adventure of leaving a harbour and heading out on the unknown, and I think watching the Cape to Rio races in my early 20s. Always wondered what it was like to head across an ocean. So, yeah.
Will you be sailing again after this?
I never thought I would sail again, but I think being in the middle of the ocean is an interesting experience. It's a bit of a big blue experience, and I think sort of surviving the seasickness, it's worth heading out there, it really is.
And did you get seasick a lot?
I didn't during the training, but the first day out I was on mother watch and I was sure I wouldn't get seasick, but I managed to sort of get seasick right next to Rich's shoes. So it was quite dramatic.
I'm sure it brought everyone closer together. And Nokulunga, maybe you can speak towards this. What are some of the challenges you faced during training?
Waking up in the middle of the night and doing my watch wasn't easy at all because it was very cold crossing the Southern Ocean, and the fact that I had to adapt each and everything that was happening on the boat because people have to say that different characters, so I have to adapt everything and learn different things from other people.
Susie, can you tell me a little bit about the challenges that you've faced?
I think probably the biggest challenge is the fear of the unknown. You're not too sure how big the waves are going to get, especially after day one of the race where it was a bit of a baptism of fire. We were thinking, well, if it's this big on race day one, what's it going to be like when we hit the roaring 40s? So that was quite scary.
I know the Invest Africa Yacht was hosting the Sapinda Rainbow team. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so as part of our team, we've got the Sapinda Rainbow project on board, and there's eight young adults. Nokulunga is one of the Sapinda team, taking part in one leg each, making up a full circumnavigation as a team. And it's really nice to have these guys on board with us. And really, for everybody that sails with us, it's a very intense experience. But hopefully, it's really going to be a life-changing experience for the guys on the Sapinda Rainbow team.
And how is the team working with the Nelson Mandela Children's Fund?
They're reporting to them. They're working together. So the Sapinda Rainbow asked for the Nelson Mandela to look for the youngsters who will take part in the Sapinda and the clip around the world. So we were lucky to get this opportunity.
It sounds like a really amazing opportunity for young people. If anyone wants to get involved in any of the other legs or maybe next year, how can they?
The race is open to absolutely anybody at all. With a minimum age being 18, and there's no upper age limit. It's the best way to find out more information about the race is to look on cliparoundtheworld.com, and the history of the race and application forms and all that sort of stuff readily available on there.
Okay, great. And how many more months until the race is complete?
We get back to London in June.
Okay.
From here, our next stop's Albany, and then we go around to the east coast of Australia, down to Hobart, and up to Singapore.
Oh, wow.
From Singapore to China, Qingdao. Then the big one from Qingdao across the North Pacific to San Francisco, down through Panama, through the Panama Canal, up to New York, then over to Ireland, then over to Den Helder, and then back into London.
Okay, and for those of us who aren't on the boat, how can we follow you online?
Whilst we're out and racing, on Clip Around the World, you'll find a link to the race viewer. Positions are updated every 3 hours. We get blogs coming back from the boat every day from both the skipper and the crew. Photographs coming back every day, video coming back every week.
The rest of the fleet will be arriving in Cape Town over the next few days. Race number 4 to Albany, Western Australia will start on November 4th, and if you would like to follow the race, you can do so at cliperaroundtheworld.com/race viewer.